Yes, I was nervous because I was sure that I had messed up a very important meeting with a high-ranked reputable doctor. To get 10 minutes with this guy was almost impossible, but I did get them, the 10 minutes. Now, I was in my late 20s, a product manager working for a big company, and on this particular day, I had 10 minutes to introduce this new product, with the goal to get this professor to be a kind of a brand ambassador. It was all I had, 10 minutes, with the professor. How did I arrive at the state of blank nervousness, already trying to find the words to explain to my boss why I had messed up? Well, stay tuned, I will tell you. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode with me, Annajelen, the time expert. Someone who is sitting in an airport hotel in Russia, and at this moment I can see an airplane just over there. Trying to work on my book. Well, it was a week filled with doubts, resistance, and several very loud and severe inner critics. And the podcast, thanks God, always saves me, because that's when I can create. So I'm happy to have created an episode which I can share with you today. It's all a bit different because I forgot like half of the stuff which I would need to make a podcast. So please excuse an rather bad acoustic maybe. Because I just took this with me to Russia. That's all I have. Like, hello. But okay, so airport hotel style. Now, let's get back to the 10 minutes meeting with this high-ranked professor, an unforgettable teaching moment. Let me tell you the story. On the way to the appointment, I was preparing myself mentally, and I thought, okay, I have only 10 minutes with this guy. Comparing the goal I had to get him as a flagship for this product, it felt like these 10 minutes were just a few seconds. And I asked myself, what is essential to have at least a chance to get to my goal? And I remember the answer clearly. I need his full attention for these 10 minutes. And I need to tell him all the advantages and benefits of this product. Now fast forward, I arrive and the assistant leads me to the professor's office and I enter the room. There he is, sitting at his big cleaned up table with his doctor's white coat, writing something on a paper, not looking up, just waving with his hand, telling me, please have a seat. And on his table stood a big clock. I remember it clearly. It was ticking. And I thought, my 10 minutes are ticking. And he was still writing, hasn't even looked up once. And that was when I was getting nervous because I knew I need his attention. Otherwise this will not work out. And as I feared, he said, please start, I just need to finish this. And that was when I had adrenaline rushing through my body. And I was getting instantly so nervous. Why? Two things happened at the same time. First, I realized that I would not even get close to my goal if this guy wasn't listening. And second, because I also understood that in this case, the guy not listening, I had to get out of my comfort zone right now by doing something. And I mean, I just could have done what he asked me to do, start presenting the product. But damn it, I needed his full attention. So I simply said, sweating fear, No. Silence. That is when he slowly looked up. For the first time, we faced each other. And he said, "Excuse me." He started to look in his agenda, searching for my name, and said, "Miss Yelen, I think you are aware that you have exactly 10 minutes to show me your product. That's all you have." I said, "I know. And that is why I need you to listen. I will start when you have finished writing." That's exactly what I said. And I was making pee-pee in my pants, I tell you, really. This wasn't my usual approach, but my mind was just so convinced that this was the right thing I was doing. And I mean, this mind, the idea, sometimes I tell you, it's not always easy to live with it, but I thought I need his attention. He looks at me, and a tiny little mean smile shows up on his lip. And with an icy coolness, he continues to write and says, "As you wish, Miss Yelen, as you wish." He looks at the clock and writes, and I just sit there watching him and the seconds counter. And then he says, without looking up, 9 minutes. Oh God, is he serious? But his tiny little mean smile proves me right. Yeah, he is serious. And that's when I hear a voice in my head saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, the game is on." I watch him writing. He must be finished soon, but now it's about something completely different. It's about the game. The seconds counter is ticking, somehow louder now, I think. And sitting there, bloody hell, a minute can be long. I don't say a word, and the doctor, slowly looking up, eyes meet eyes, and with a grin, he starts to write as slowly as he can, still watching me. And he says, 8 minutes. I turn my head away and I think, "You wanna play, huh? You wanna play? Well, I'm on." But suddenly I think of my boss asking me how the meeting went and if I had the professor as a flagship for this product. Oh dear me, oh dear me. And here I am, and what am I doing? I am playing a who is going to give up game with the professor. And yes, my time was melting, and so my chance to get him to work with us as well. So what do? I continue to play. I wait. Valuable time is just ticking away. The professor goes, 7 minutes, Miss Yelen, 7 minutes. I look at him and I shrug with my shoulders. And that's my striking move. Because now he puts the pen on the table, he leans back in his chair, and he looks like one of the bad guys in a James Bond movie, being completely overconfident, folding his hands behind his head and nods. I'm listening. First thought I have, I won. And second, it's my stage now. Now what's funny is that I don't talk fast or try to say everything I wanted to say. No. Somehow, under the limited time I have, I manage to reduce everything to the minimum. 6 minutes later, I leave his office. About 2 years later, I was at a conference when my boss came up with someone I knew. "Here is someone who wants to see you, Anna." And it was the professor. That day he told me that he still tells people and friends about this special experienced moment. And so do I, like today. Why was it so different for both of us? It wasn't just a game thing, though I have to say that was a brilliant move from his side. I say that today. And yeah, it was also about what happened in the 6 minutes. I got his full attention. Full attention. The way he looked me in the eyes, the way he listened, the way he looked at the product, touched it, examined it. That day, both of us were witnesses of what a change it makes when you give someone your full attention. Simple as that. It changes the way you work together. It changes the relationship you have to one and each other. Because being fully attentive means the highest respect you can give someone. That day, we felt the difference. And do you know what happens if you have someone sitting in front of you listening to every word you say? Well, you, as the speaker, you grow because you are heard. And when you feel heard, your self-esteem grows and you surpass yourself. That's what happened with me that day. I didn't need the 10 minutes. I put it on the point in 6 minutes. Just because this man gave me the feeling I'm listening to every word you say. And vice versa. And that's the crème de la crème in communication. Many years have passed and I still think of this meeting very often. And it's a mental reminder for when I meet someone. The minimum I can do is to be fully in the moment. In all the years of learning, I also have learned other things when it comes to being fully attentive in a meeting. For example, if I'm tired, I can't do it. That's why, if I can, I never plan a meeting directly after lunch. And if yes, I will ask my dialogue partner to be, if he's all right, or she, to do the meeting while walking. Fully attentive needs energy. Remember the question from the last week's episode. What would happen on the long term if we would resist to please the desire of distracting ourselves in everyday life? Well, one answer is being fully attentive is easier. If the brain is used to be distracted every 7 minutes, it will be hard to concentrate for an hour straight, or for half an hour, or for 20 minutes. And that's where I would like to mention the last episode I did about the capacity of our brains. I think we must treat our mind carefully. And if we please it with every distraction it wishes for, I believe we support the monkey mind to go even wilder. Another answer goes in the same direction. We would train deep thinking. If we wouldn't distract ourselves all the time. I believe we sometimes forget how damn important it is to think. Just think. And the human race needs to reflect. And if we stop doing this, I will take the next flight to the moon and inhabit my land. No joke. And another answer to the question about resisting to please the desire of distracting ourselves in everyday life could also be, it gives more space for real moments in life. The story with the professor reminds me of the importance also of monotasking, to do one task at a time, meaning being fully in the moment and experiencing the real life with awareness and with all my senses. That's what I love about life, and this for myself, I know I can only find it in the analog world. Still, I would like to add a few words which need to be said. I am not going to be the one saying social media and the digital world or an internet is bad. Thanks to it, I have made some fantastic acquaintances with some of you guys, which I think is a huge upside. I've learned stuff from you. I mean, wow. And the downside is that I know already that I will be disappointing some of you, for example, by not answering your emails. And that's just one downside. Believe me, I would love to answer every single email. I still have the conversation with the boys because they say no, because that's a long story. But anyway, I know that I'm here to create good content for you. That's my job. And for this, I have to think a lot. Which leads me to another answer to the question, what if I, Anna, wouldn't resist to all the distractions popping up in my mind? And they are. I wouldn't be able to take the time to go to these weird, different places in my mind where maybe a good idea is hiding. But these are only my answers for myself. Take some time for you and ask yourself the question of what difference it would be for you if you would resist to please the desire of distracting yourself in everyday life. What would it mean for you? Maybe it wouldn't make a difference. Maybe yes. Maybe you have to try it once and see how it feels. Maybe you don't have distractions. However, let me end this episode with a little observation I did last night. It was Valentine's Day, and I went for dinner in the hotel restaurant. And during the day, on a little flyer, I read, Russian, that there would be a Valentine's dinner party for the couple guests of the hotel from 6 to 8. So I thought, oh, okay, no need for me. So I waited until 8 o'clock to go to eat then. Now, I have no idea how I think I was even just possible to read anything on this flyer, because I was wrong with the hours. The Valentine dinner party for couples started exactly at 8 when I entered the restaurant. The guys here in the hotel know that I'm the strange woman all alone sitting in her room all day long. And the guy looked around, like, dear, what shall we do with her? At all the tables and placed me between the couples. And I mean, I love stuff like this. I think it's hilarious. I had my notebook and I started writing down my observations. Most of the couples had their mobile phones on the table. While talking, it happened that sometimes the phone blinked, and the phone was in the hand, breaking the conversation. I don't judge this behavior, and I think it has happened to all of us. But I know one thing for sure. Being fully attentive to the person I have in front of me looks different. And the energy is different. It's intense and it's good. And I don't want to miss this. My dear listeners out there, this was just an introduction to a big topic. I have more to come. And the coincidence is, I am invited to a talk show next week in Switzerland, and that is why I have even to return earlier than expected. I have to leave Russia very soon. And the topic is the handling of social media and the digital world. There will be a psychologist guy talking about the impact on our behaviors. There will be a YouTube star which almost experienced a burnout and returned back to a normal job, a multimedia artist who became addicted to social media, and my humble self as the time expert. So I will tell you more about this very soon, also what the other people say, which I think could be very interesting. And I have already started a few episodes on other topics. For example, one is called Why I Love to Play, or Yes, I'm a Player, or something. But more to come. So this time you will not have to wait for too long for the next episode. Whatever it's going to be, about distraction again, or maybe social media and the influence, I don't know. Or the player thing, which is going to be good. Stories. Okay, now I wish you to experience some intense, fully being in the attentive mode moments. And stay safe and take care. Bye. Okay. An airplane. So many airplanes. By the way, what I'm learning here in Russian, in my Russian hotel, I have to say, by observing Russian people, is to be clear and direct in the face. And I have to say, it's somehow brutal, but somehow very time-saving. The professor loved the product, and he was a big supporter for the company I was working for after that day. Well, so now that's all. Take care. I hope you're doing good. And yeah, bye. Bye-bye.